When it comes to drug delivery systems, so many factors come into play, such as biocompatibility, toxicity, therapeutic potential, solubility, absorption, and cost. Hence, drug delivery systems that are unique and specific to certain tissues or organs or diseases can help bypass these issues. Specifically, nano-based drug delivery systems. The latter employs technology at the nanoscale, so up to 100 nanometers, to achieve desired results at the macroscale. A way to produce nanoparticles is by flash nanoprecipitation, or FNP. FNP makes use of two main streams. The first one contains our hydrophobic solute, an amphiphilic polymer which acts as a stabilizing agent, and a water-miscible solvent. The second stream is water. The two streams are then mixed in turbulence in a confined volume in a matter of milliseconds at a very, very high rate to ensure a uniform supersaturation level, meaning any solute existing above its saturation threshold precipitates. FNP works on the basis of particle nucleation based on the solubility curves of the solute and the solvent. Let's take this example where our solute is beta-carotene and our solvent is PS10B-PeO68. If we're starting with 3% weight percent material of beta-carotene, then the more we add water, then its solubility is going to keep on decreasing because our solute is hydrophobic. And at some point, beta-carotene will precipitate because it's not thermodynamically favorable to stay in solution with water. And the same will happen with our polymer. Its solubility will keep on decreasing and it precipitates with beta-carotene. So what FNP does is that it bypasses all of that, and the initial fast mixing drives the reaction forward so that the solute and the polymer precipitate together, and so we form nanoparticles. A prominent material used as a stabilizing polymer is one that includes PEG, or polyethylene glycol. For example, we have PCl-PEG, PLGA-PEG, or PLA-PEG. And that's because PEG is biocompatible and can evade the immune system, and thus its rate of elimination from the body is reduced. PEG is widely used in biomedical engineering. So where exactly can we see PEG most often? In tissue engineering. That is because tissue engineering is the field that's concerned with tissue creation and repair. The three pillars of tissue engineering are cells, scaffolds, and signals. Let's take the example of when we're engineering a cartilage microenvironment. The scaffold is a PEG hydrogel, cross-linkers, RGD peptide, which is a recognition sequence for fibronectin, and GFOGER, which is a collagen mimetic. We get a functionalized PEG gel. The cells are chondrocytes, and the signals also consist of their extracellular matrix components made of integrins, fibronectin, and collagen. Studies show that GFOGER induces higher cell proliferation in degradable PEG gels. The significance of this result lies in inducing chondrogenesis, since chondrocytes have relatively slow proliferation rate. Alongside chondrocytes, type 2 collagen and aggrecan levels also significantly increased in degradable PEG and GFOEGR. Hence, tissue engineering holds tremendous promise in providing solutions for tissue repair and replacement as long as the triad holds. In addition, drug delivery systems in the nanoscale can provide drugs of a good solubility and low immunogenicity. Both fields use PEG as a key ingredient in their respective research.